You're listening to LSU Daily with Matt Musso, your home for all things LSU sports.
Off and running here on another edition of LSU Daily. Welcome in and glad to have you along for the ride. Plenty to get to here today. We'll dive back into the transfer portal with LSU football as two new potential targets have hopped into the portal on Tuesday night. Both of them at a position of need for LSU. We'll tell you about them and kind of explore if LSU should pursue them. Again, nothing official on LSU's interest at all at this point, but we'll take a look at them both because they both could, if LSU goes down that route, contribute immediately for the Tigers in 2025. And then LSU men's basketball laid an absolute egg on Tuesday night at Missouri. It was ugly from the start, and ultimately LSU would lose it 83-67, fall to 0-2 in SEC and 11-4 in conference play. We'll give you a brief thought on that and what's ahead for Matt McMahon and the Tigers, as they have certainly fallen on hard times here early in conference play. Be sure to subscribe, share, like, follow me on social media, Twitter, X, at Musso Matthew. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, at Matthew Musso1. All of that is greatly appreciated as well. All right, let's dive right into it. We've talked about the transfer portal plenty, and LSU's done a great job. I mean, you can run down the list, right? They've got 14 guys in, and in fact, they just got paperwork on Wednesday from Josh Thompson and Destin Hill, so now they're officially signed and in the boat. The train just keeps on rolling. You have revamped the wide receiver room, adding Nick Anderson, Barry Brown, and then, of course, Destin Hill, and turn that just into a bigger strength than it normally already is for LSU. What you've done on the defensive line has been very, very good with the edge rushers and, of course, Sadir Mitchell coming over from Texas. Obviously, at cornerback, adding Jakeem Jackson, adding Mansour Delane. Like, you've done fantastic if you're the Tigers in the transfer portal, but there are a couple of positions of need that remain. One of them, as we know, is safety, and LSU has two safety targets on campus at various points this week, and Keontae Scott from Auburn, and then Tamarcus Cooley from NC State. The other one is offensive tackle, and that's where we turn our attention today. Two names to look at that both popped into the portal, or filed the necessary paperwork, I should say, on Tuesday night. Both starters, both with plenty of experience at left tackle, right tackle, some even guard. Very versatile players. One of them is from the FCS level. That is Connor Moore. He's from Montana State. The other one is Monroe Mills from Louisville. And both are expected to attract plenty of attention from Power 4 schools. Let's start with Monroe Mills, the offensive tackle from Louisville. He started his career at Oklahoma State, then transferred to Texas Tech. Of course, then transferred to Louisville, now in the portal again, has 1 season of eligibility remaining. Great size, 6'7", 315 pounds. Started for 2 seasons at Texas Tech. Overall, across his 3 stops, has played over 2,300 career snaps. And in those, he's allowed just 4 career sacks. Look at what he did over with the Cardinal at Louisville this season. Just 1 sack at left tackle, only 7 pressures. Again, he spent time at left and right tackle, but for Louisville this season was the left tackle. Was injured in the game against SMU, but still played in 11 games. Overall, as you said, 33 career games, over 2,300 career snaps. And this season graded out as Louisville's number 2 offensive lineman per Pro Football Focus. This looks like it would be an absolute slam dunk get for LSU if they end up interested and they do pursue Monroe Mills. This is the type of guy we've been talking about that is an immediate day one impact plug-and-play guy for you, potentially at the tackle spot. Again, this is pure speculation at the moment. I don't know if LSU's actually interested in Monroe Mills, if this is something that they're going to pursue, but it definitely looks like one hell of an option. If you can replace Will Campbell, who gave up, 2 sacks in his entire career, with a guy who's played over 2,300 snaps and has only given up 4 sacks in his career, playing both left and right tackle, that is absolutely an avenue that you go down if you're LSU. Now, Connor Connor Moore, Connor Moore, another versatile guy, entered the transfer portal Tuesday afternoon out of Montana State. Of course, they finished runner-up in the FCS this season, falling to North Dakota State in the championship game on Monday. Moore was first-team All-Big Sky. He spent time at both guard and tackle in 2024. So, again, a very versatile player and helped lead one of the best run games in the FCS so far this season. He was also a starter in 2023 for the Bobcats. All 12 games at left tackle, earned freshman All-American honors. So this is a guy, while I get it, it's sometimes tough to project how, FCS competition, FCS projects up to not only FBS, but Power 4 FBS. But again, this is a guy who's plenty decorated, 6'5", 310, has played 3 years of football. Again, freshman All-America, All Big Sky this season, and versatile at both guard and tackle. I think both of these would be tremendous additions for LSU if they choose to go down this route. This is something that they have to do, though. LSU, while, look, Tyree Adams acquitted himself nicely in the bowl game. Could he be your left tackle? Sure. They were extremely high on him coming into the season. It's the conversation we've had over and over and over and over again. But, same thing with a guy like Weston Davis. Sure. Could Weston Davis play right tackle for you? Sure. But you've seen LSU with plenty of depth that they have on the offensive line go into the portal and get day one starters. Like, you had a guy in DJ Chester who would be going into his second year as your starting center, but there was enough concern there this year where it's like maybe you kick down the guard and they go out and get Braylon Moore to solidify that spot. All right, well, if you move Chester to guard, you had Paul Mubenga. You have Cohen Eccles, who we saw play a lot in the bowl game and was great coming in, played really well and stood out a lot. And then you have Carius Kern and Solomon Thomas, 2 5-stars coming in. Like, you have options there, but they go get Josh Thompson, who's versatile, like a Connor Moore, who can play guard and tackle. They've had options. They've gone to get the sure thing starter. It seems to be they will do that with tackle as well, at least to replace Will Campbell, so you have somebody protecting Garrett Nussmeier's blind side. Connor Moore, Monroe Mills, is it one of those two? We'll wait and see if LSU pursues, but those are two of the biggest names that have just jumped into the transfer portal and are expected to attract plenty of attention from Power 4 schools. You'll still trudge away at safety, getting Keontae Scott, Tamarcus Cooley, so you're really watching right now for LSU, and of course Donovan Green set to visit Friday and Saturday, a tight end from Texas A&M. We talked about him on Tuesday's show. That's your latest here with LSU in the transfer portal. All right, going to be a quick episode here today, but before we get out, we do unfortunately have to talk about what happened in Columbia, Missouri last night for LSU and the men's basketball team. Man, it was rough. It was rough all around for LSU. There's really no other way to put it. They were not in that game from jump, and Missouri was really able to run away and hide. 83-67 was your final score. Look, we've talked about it plenty with LSU, and we talked about it in this game. And I will tell you, certain things about this one really disappointed me. When we went through this and said, okay, what does LSU have to do to win the game? Because Missouri and LSU looked pretty evenly matched everywhere else except for 2 spots. LSU looked to have a really nice advantage on the glass heading into this game. That did not play out in the least. Just look at halftime, and then we'll look at the full. I mean, at halftime, Missouri had 21 rebounds, 9 of them offensive. LSU had 14 rebounds total. You got out-rebounded by 7 in the first half, and they almost had they had 5 less offensive rebounds than you had total rebounds. When you look at it in total in the game, 37-29. I mean, they almost doubled you up there on the glass. So that was disappointing. And then, yes, the turnovers. And it was a carbon copy of the Vanderbilt game. LSU in the first half had double-digit turnovers, 10 of them. It led to 14 Missouri points. And in the second half, you only turned the ball over 4 times. And you lost the second half by 1 point. But at that point, the damage had been done. LSU didn't shoot the ball well in the first half. The first half doomed LSU in this basketball game, where you got out-rebounded by 7 and almost gave up double-digit offensive boards. You shot 37% from the floor in the first half. That's not going to get it done. And you turned the ball over 10 times. LSU didn't do anything well in the first half, and you found yourself down 42-27. That is what has been the case with this team all season. Rough first halves. They're a strong second-half team. When you dig yourself a hole like that, it does not matter, and it didn't matter then. LSU has got to figure out how to play a complete game, and they better figure it out quickly, because now you enter the gauntlet, and you've started 0-2. That was a big opportunity for you in the net. You couldn't get it done. Now, 4 of your next 5 are against teams ranked in the top 25. And it intrudes a trip to Coleman Coliseum, where you're not going to win because you never do. And it includes Auburn coming to the PMAC. Those 2 are losses. Next up, you're on the road at number 23, Ole Miss. And right now, you cannot justify picking LSU to win a basketball game. Teams are allowed to improve as they go along. And I think LSU will improve. The problem is, it might not show in the record because the league is so deep. And that's disappointing for a team that showed so much promise early on in this season with multiple Power 4 wins. But last night, familiar refrain. Turnovers and a bad first half doomed the LSU Tigers. They fall to 0-2. We'll keep you posted on plenty more as it comes available, and we'll keep tracking the season as LSU and Matt McMahon try to right the ship and get this thing back on track. All right, that's going to wrap it up here for today. Subscribe, share, like, follow on social media. Be here next time for more on LSU Daily.